Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with a person that you should know, Christell Ayers.
That's me.
That's right. And her actual theme is "To God Be the Glory," and this is a special type person here. She is an entrepreneur. And by the way, the theme of the program is Entrepreneur Spotlight. So the whole spotlight is going to be on her. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening.
I mentioned that this is a Lake County program, but if you have not been known all over the world, you will be after you do this program.
Is that right? Well, that sounds really good to me.
Because the program airs in Kenosha County, Cook County, Lake County, and also it's online, drbrooks.tv, my commercial in, drbrooks.tv. So it's online, so it's shown all over the world.
Excellent.
We're happy to have you here. Lake County, we'll say this Comcast audience is about 100,000 people that will be listening to watching this program. Lake County is probably 850,000.
Wow.
So we have a pretty good audience. First of all, I mentioned you are entrepreneur, A-List Limo Ride, I guess is the name of the business that you're in, right?
No, that's our website.
It's your
our
website.
Website is
Before I give too much, I'm gonna have you tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background.
Okay.
We'll make it be legitimate there.
Okay, well, we'll start off with the name of the company is A-List Limousine and Bus. So we're A-List Limo and Bus, and our website is www.alistlimoRide.com.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your background. Word.
Wow, let's see. I grew up on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
We started out in the Robert Taylor homes back then. They've torn all of those down now. Moved a little further south out to the Hundreds, we called it, 105th area. 105th, just off of Cottage Grove for any of you from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
But moved up here some 25 years ago.
Oh.
After I got out of the Army, I became a reservist. I was an Army reservist, and I started working for Discover Card once I finished college. And so I worked for Discover Card, left Discover Card, and joined the Lake County Forest Preserve, where I managed a campground and a boat marina for them out in Barrington.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And then in 1999, they asked me to come and help build the Greenbelt Cultural Center here in North Chicago. And I worked there until 2015, where I decided to step out and become an entrepreneur and grow my own limousine and transportation business.
Tell us about the Robert Taylor homes, the former Robert Taylor homes. We've been hearing so much about it, but what about the challenges that you experienced there?
Well, I think the Robert Taylor homes, to be honest with you, got a bad rep because it was community. It was, each building that you lived in was kind of your building community. Okay. So we were in 5100, which is right on the corner of 51st and State Street. And, you knew most of the people on your floor, on that, like we were on the 4th floor, so they would have weekly where you'd clean everything down and clean down the stairs and stuff like that. But that was families back then. My grandmother lived there, and my mom had a home separate from there, but she would drop me off there when she went on to work. She worked for the post office. My dad worked for the Chicago Transit Authority as a bus driver, so I was with my grandmother most of the summer. So I didn't live there full time, but I was there most of the summer.
Who are siblings?
I have a younger sister who's an attorney living in Seattle today, and I have a brother who's in communication and promotion who lives on the south side of Chicago. Actually, he's in the Hazelcrest Country Club area.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have their families, and they've grown up to be great kids or great adults. They'll kill me if I say kids. Yeah. Sorry.
To God be the glory. What does that mean to you?
You know, I was raised in a Catholic home, and we went to Catholic school,
Okay.
and so I was given a really good Christian base growing up, and so I understand that for me, everything that I've been blessed with has come through my spiritual beliefs, and I believe in giving back because of that. So God has been good to me, and I believe in just passing that on. So I don't take credit for any of it. When I left the Forest Preserve, I was a little scared about making that decision, you know, to step out and do something entrepreneurial. But I felt that God was telling me that He had me. He was going to take care. He was my source, and He has proven to be my source. Not that we're rich, but we're moving on up. And that's the reason why I chose that as a part of the spotlight, that we're moving on up. We can see that we're making a difference. We were able to take Rita Mayfield's kids. She ran a camp this summer. We were able to take them into Chicago in our bus and not have that be a charge. It was something we were able to give back to the children right here in North Chicago. When the kids make the honor roll at some of the schools in Waukegan, we'll take them for their lunch outing at People's Choice or at McDonald's, and that keeps the kids motivated. We get to take them in a limo, so they're excited to actually make the honor roll because, you know, they get to go on a limo ride. So we get to give back a little bit. So none of this could happen without God. So
This
to
is
God be the
fantastic.
glory.
Fantastic. Earlier in your growing up, you joined the reserves.
Join the Army, yeah.
How did that affect your life?
Well, you know, it's funny. I was just telling my mom that I joined the Army because I was getting away from some of the violence that was starting to happen, and I felt like I needed to go to college. And my mom had my younger brother and sister still to put through private school, so, you know, she didn't have the wherewithal financially to be able to send me to college. And so I decided to join the reserves in order to pay for school. And it wound up being the best decision I've ever made because I was undisciplined. I didn't really know what my full potential was. I had only seen what was around me. And so going off to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Tank Hill, I got a chance to meet all other races, all other backgrounds, all other economic income people. So I met rich people, poor people, black people, white people, Chinese people, people I had never really been around, and I got a chance to meet those people. And then we were challenged. We were challenged far beyond anything we had ever done before. And I remember calling my mom because I told her I wanted to go in the Army. She's like, it's a bad idea. So I called her and I said, Mom, look, this is terrible. It was the worst idea ever. And so I asked her, I said, you know, I need you to call and tell them that you're sick and I need to come home. And she says, oh no, you decided you wanted to go, you deal with it, and hung up on me. We got to make one phone call a week and she hung up.
And this was age 17.
Yeah, so
right?
1983. So, you know, I was like, okay, I guess I'm here. So I had to settle in and do what I needed to do to get through that, and wound up starting off as a private and ended as a captain. I decided to stay in and become an officer. So
Right. Now,
best decision I ever made.
You retired as a captain?
As a captain.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
now, with that administrative background that you had, you acquired in the service, that helped you in being a manager of the Forest Preserve, then, right?
Yeah, I think so. And what's even more ironic is when I was branched in the military as an officer, you know, you get to put in some categories that you want. So I wanted to be an aviator. I wanted to fly. Second was transportation, and third was logistics in some way. And so the Army had their fill of Army officers as pilots at that point. They have so many slots. So they branched me transportation. And I'm in a transportation business today.
Amazing.
Who knew? Again, I think that's God, you know, kind of doing his thing.
Because this was not your vision, right?
Wasn't my vision.
It was God's leading you, preparing you for what
me.
you're doing now.
Yeah, I really think so.
Oh man, that is fantastic. So you mentioned that you're the first director of the Forest Reserve of North Chicago, Greenbelt Culture Center, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was just recently it was built, and I guess Audrey Nixon, of county board member from North Chicago, played a great part in getting it built in North Chicago. And so the county decided to name a street Audrey Nixon Boulevard. The old 14th Street in North Chicago. But you had a lot of challenges there too. That was, you loved to do what you did, right?
You know, it's funny. When I left the campground and boat marina in Barrington, the Forest Preserve said, well, we need you to kind of work with the Independence Grove Forest Preserve. It was a big gravel quarry at the time. And so they sent me off to California, and we did some scouting around to see how we could build the Independence Grove Forest Preserve, and I was going to manage it. But then they got waylaid. It wound up not starting. The construction got pushed behind because they let go of the contractor. So then they said, well, we got another place that we're building in North Chicago, and so we'd like for you to go over and work with that. And I was not really sure, because I didn't know anything about running a cultural center. So I thought, and then I thought, well, I didn't know anything about running a campground and boat marina. Now my degree is in recreation and park administration from Western Illinois, for all you leathernecks.
I don't hold that against you. I'm a Redbird.
All right, well, I won't hold that against you either. So I just felt like the military teaching me management, what I learned in college as far as running a park district or something like that. I thought I was going to be Julie, the cruise director. I wanted to be like on the Love Boat. I wanted to just let people have a lot of fun. So it turned out at Greenbelt, that's exactly what I was able to do. We put on concerts and plays, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed running the Greenbelt Cultural Center. But you know, God was calling me to do a little bit more. And I have to say, while Audrey was great in getting the Greenbelt started, I don't think I would have been with the Lake County Forest Preserve had it not been for Angelo Kyle pushing for more minorities to be in management. There was no minorities in management, so I was the first African-American manager for the Lake County Forest Preserve. So that was interesting. But I proved myself there, that I wasn't there just as a minority. I was there as a capable person that could do it, and I think that showed in all the great success we had during my tenure at the Greenbelt Cultural Center and even with the Fox River Forest Preserve. So
yes, for the short time we've been talking, you have promulgated why you have all this administrative background and why you were qualified to do what you were doing at the Forest Preserve. Now, what piqued your interest in the limo service?
Now, that's an interesting story. Now, remember we talked about the fact that I had the background in transportation through the military. And even during Desert Storm, during the war, I ran an actual rail company, 1151st Transportation Company out of West Dallas, Wisconsin. We actually were a locomotive company, so we moved ammunition and fuel and people and food, logistic supplies, from Crane Navy Base to Norfolk, Virginia. So it would be loaded in the ships, and then over to Iran and Iraq. I mean, so so I had a wartime mission in transportation that was in rail. So I had done truck with the 1744th Transportation. I know there's some of those National Guard members that are still out there that we had done transportation with them through moving trucks and things like that. So, I mean, the transportation background was there. So for me, coming into doing this with the Forest Preserve, it was different. You know, it was just how's this going to play a role? But I think it all worked out.
Now, the limo service, it has grown to the largest, or that's your goal, the vision anyway, to become the largest transportation company in the world.
Well, that's my vision. That's my vision. But as it turned out, so far, I think we're the largest in Lake County. And we've just recently expanded to Kenosha County. We have our first office in Kenosha, which we're really excited about for all of you out in Kenosha. We're right at 5701 75th Street, and we have a full fleet of limousines and airport transportation vehicles and buses to support our local Kenoshians.
How do you account then for the growth of the limo business?
God, God, and having a great team of people.
Okay.
But I will tell you how we started, because I kind of got off of that a little bit.
Okay.
Fred Turman, who owned Midwest Limousine, and I were talking, and he was trying to get out of the business. He was ready to retire,
Okay.
and he said that he was looking to sell the business, and I told him I wish I had the money to buy it, but I didn't, and he asked me to come on as a partner, and he's now kind of golfing a little bit more often.
Oh, yes. Right.
But Fred Turman helped open the door for me, and I can't thank him enough. Thank you, Fred, and Doris, his wife, that allowed me to come on and start part-time, and then when I left the Forest Preserve, go on and full-time, run the business full-time, and here we are.
This is fantastic. It's great that you're a person that's, give credit where credit is due. You know?
Absolutely.
It wasn't all Chris. You had someone working with you to get
absolutely.
where you are.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
He taught me everything he knew. I remember sitting at the kitchen table with his wife Doris, and
Okay.
she telling me how to take the reservations and how to take the phone calls and how to keep the books. I mean, I was starting from scratch in luxury transportation. So
Now, the added services that you have now,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you want to tell Lake County about all the services that you provide.
well, we started off with just airport transportation. That's what we started with. Just take people
Okay.
to and from the airport.
Okay.
But I saw quickly that Uber and what Uber was doing was going to affect the airport transportation. Even corporations we were starting to see were doing a little bit more of Uber and cutting the cost. So we thought that people were always going to get married.
Okay.
People are always going to want to go on a night on the town. People are going to need transportation to go to those special outings. Why don't we stay in the luxury transportation business? So we bought limousines when people were getting out of the limousine business. Because I started when President Obama was just coming into office. So that was just when the economy was at its worst. So here I'm running into the burning building when most people were coming out.
Yeah.
But I felt like it couldn't go anywhere but up. And I took a little gamble with God, and it's working out. So we have airport transportation, we have ground transportation, we have a stretch limousine that's black, we have a stretch limousine that's white, we have a Hummer limousine, we have a party bus. So if you want to get on a party bus, or as we call it, our limo coach, you can actually just sit in there and have a great time, and we've got the party lights and all of that. So it's not necessarily a party vehicle. We can take you to conferences, and we have a 25-passenger bus that can take you to and from where all the seats face forward. We have a transit van that we can take you to the airport as a group with your family. So we've got a full fleet, a full array of vehicles that we can take you out for a night on the town, to the airport, or any special occasion.
I have to mention at this time that there are three types of people, period, I guess I could say, in the world, or period. There are people that make things happen, and there are people that watch things happen, and those that wonder what happened. And I tell my wife that all the time, and you remind me of her because you have made things happen. Everywhere you've been, you make things happen. And this is count for your success.
Thank you.
That you're a person that make things happen. And I'm really excited about having you on a program to let Lake County know what happens to a person when they make things happen.
Well, I tell you, I met you a long time ago, you and your lovely wife, Daisy Brooks. And you guys have been just icons, leading the way. I've watched you with the NAACP. I've watched you with this show. I've watched you with helping people get registered for voting. I've watched you pave the way. And it is such an honor to be on your show today. It is truly an honor, and I thank you for it.
Well, this is reciprocal, I tell you, in your field, though, communication plays a great part. So how do you get the word out about and how important is communication in your business?
Well, I think it's everything. I think it's everything. If people don't know you there, they can't call you.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping that you're going to pick up the phone and call our local number, 847-949-8770, or call us toll free, 1-800-729-5110.
But it's on the screen too.
That's right, 800-729-5110. Or you can look us up on the website, alistlimoride.com. Got a new website that we're rolling out, and we're really excited about it. So you got to go and check it out. It's really interactive. You can book your trips, you can get quotes, anything you need right there. And we're even trying to get in the Uber's category in that you can actually go into our passenger app and see your driver coming to you, book everything, get receipts, all of that right on our passenger app. So that's A-List Limo and Bus that you'll be able to check that out. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You check us out on social media and let us know what you think about us.
What about opportunities? You touched on that for employment at A-List Limo. Yeah.
Wow. One of my dreams, when you talked about being the largest limousine company in the world, one of my dreams has been to be one of the largest employers in Lake County, providing, in the transportation industry, providing a living wage.
Okay.
And we've been working earnestly at being able to do that and to provide benefits to our employees. So we're growing and we're excited. We're looking for team members, people that want to come and work in the office with us to do dispatch and reservations, people that want to drive for us, people that want to get their CDL. We're even offering CDL classes, and people that just want to drive. If you want to drive our small cars, medium cars, or buses, we'd love to have you on our team.
What about funding for this or your equipment? Those are leased or?
Well, that has again been truly a God story.
Okay.
That's truly a God story in that we've had companies that have decided that they wanted to maybe get out of the business, that have given us an opportunity. We took over Atrium Limousine, and in taking over Atrium Limousine, we were able to take over their customer base and a couple of their vehicles. Exquisite Limousine, Ruben Hernandez. Hey, Ruben. Decided that he was, going to kind of get out of the limousine industry, and we were able to take over his Cadillac with the Lamborghini doors and his Hummer, and he works with us to send business our way. So again, we've been able to acquire, and that's been helping us to grow as well. But Highland Park Port, got to give them their pub. They've been working with us and helping us to roll out of there with some brand new cars, so that way you're always in a quality vehicle to take you to and from your destination.
This is fantastic. Well, I have to really, again, talk about the criteria for success.
Okay.
The high school students, I'm sure that you have a great opportunity, you've had opportunity to talk to high school students, about going into the limo business,
Yeah.
And we talked about communication, and there's so many assets that a young student, whoever would like to go into the business, have to have success.
Well, and I think I'm glad you said that, because young people are my passion. I love you guys, because I remember being at that critical point. My best friend, Angie Hill, and I were going to go into the Army together, and she got pregnant. And my mom, Joyce Ayers, I love you, Mama. She said, Chris, if you wait for her, you may not go. And I had to make that tough decision to go without going on the buddy program. And there's going to be some tough junctures that you young people are going to have to make, where you get pulled into what others are doing, or you lead your own path. And so for me, when I went off to the Army, I saw that I could do anything I set my mind to. So I really challenge young people to really look into the military. It gets a bad rep, but it's not for everybody. But if you put your mind to it and you're willing to listen and learn, you can do well. Now, I didn't make it my career solely. I was part-time. So going to college was another big thing. I used it as a vessel for me to go to college, because I knew that if I didn't go to college, I really wouldn't be able to control my life. And that was important to me, to be able to help my mother, help my father, help my brother and sister. And I couldn't do that. It's hard for people that don't have to help other people that don't have. So I wanted to be in a position that I could help. So in doing so, I went to college, and I did the best I could there. So my first years, I struggled. But then I have to tell people, most people don't know about recreation as a field. My mom thought I was studying play or something.
Right.
But it can help you to go into hotel management, cruise ship management, help you go into park district management, or working for the Forest Preserve, which was another great opportunity for me. So really look at that. Forestry, working in nature. I know we don't normally camp that much as African Americans, but it was interesting, and it was something that I went from being a C student to being an A student and coming out on the dean's list because I found something that was my passion. So I would really challenge people, if you're a young person in high school, take that exam. It's a little test that kind of finds out about your personality, and it helps you to find out what would be a good career path for you. It was the best thing I ever did.
Fantastic, fantastic. What about the criteria for drivers?
Yeah.
For-
So for my young people, as you're getting your license, keep your record clean. You got to be 25 years old, and you have to have a clean driving record, no more than one moving violation in a 2-year period. So that really makes it difficult for us to find good drivers. And there's good pay. You can earn anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour plus in the driving field. And every bus and everything that you follow behind has the sign, drivers want it. And that's because so many people mess up their record. Keep your driving record clean. Really, it's imperative.
I'm really excited about the fleet that you have. You mentioned that before, but I was looking at the article about you that Ron McAllister put about
That's
you.
another one of my buddies.
Yeah,
Hey, Ron.
and I was looking at your fleet, and again, you mentioned that, but here you got new sedans, 4 seats, a Cadillac, Escalade, 7 seats, a variety of stretch limousines, Cadillac, Lincolns, Hummer, 10 to 20 seats, a big party bus, 28 seats, vans, 12 to 14 seats, a charter bus, 25 front-facing seats, you know, a motor coach, a bus, 50 seats, and more. That's you are ready for. You're already ready for Lake County. You're getting ready for the world.
Hey.
you know.
Well, and I find that diversity is good.
Okay.
So that if you don't have just all your eggs in one basket. So if an Uber or something like that comes along, you've got other vehicles, and we found that we get calls for all of them. So it's really been good for us to kind of bring them on board with us, and it's been exciting to see things kind of grow. When I left the Forest Preserve in January of 2015,
Okay.
I
flies,
had
huh?
4 cars, and today we have 15. So God is good.
Right. And your future plans too. You have a list of things that you.
Well, we just opened up an automotive repair shop again at that location, so
Okay.
we can repair your cars. And while we'll give you a limousine ride back home while we're working on your car. We have a full-service detail shop, and my son Terry's running that. So we can detail your car, we can hand car wash. We've got a great team of people, Ruben and Jim and all of those guys that are there to greet you and just take really good care of you. Kristen's going to take care of you for the limos, and then all my ladies down here, and Pat and Sharice and all of those ladies down here will take care of you. Need the vehicle here in Waukegan. Our office, 2504 Washington Street, right there next to Bertrand Bowling Alley, across the street from the old St. Therese Hospital.
Oh, yes.
Our office is right there, so you can come on by and actually see some of the vehicles there, or you can see them again at 5701 Highway 50 there on 75th Street, and you can see some of the vehicles up there. But we can repair your car, we can paint your car, we can detail your car, we can do all of that. So that's the next step for us.
Well, you have additional ones. Did you mention medical transportation?
Yes, so we can do medical transportation, and we've just started A-list limo and taxi. So we can actually be a taxi for you. So we know that in order to stay competitive, we could not just have limo. There are people that want to do things more in a little less expensive
Okay.
budget. So we've got great taxis now that we can pick you up in, and Jimmy Baldwin's a partner with me on that.
Oh,
and
yes.
so we'd love to see you ride with Ayers Taxi as well.
Yeah. Moving on up.
Moving on up.
You have casino trips, of course. That's
Absolutely. So if you want to go to the casino, we can do it.
A great population take daily trips there to the casino. You know.
And we'd love to be a part of that.
Oh my goodness. Corporation and business needs, celebrity pickups.
That's right. We've picked up Donald Lawrence. We've picked up Hezekiah Walker. We've picked up Rance Allen. We've picked up Abdin and Abv travels with us all the time. We've got a contract with those guys. And as a veteran-owned company, we hope to have one with you soon, too.
Oh, my goodness. Now, do you have any time for leisure time activities, you know, as busy as you are?
Not lately, but I do love to play softball and volleyball, but lately it's nose to the grindstone. I'm really just trying to see where we can really take this, and I am known to take a few vacations here and there, so if things get a little hectic, I'll take a little quick getaway and recharge the batteries and come on back.
Now, what does your mother think about this?
My mom, she's proud as a peacock of me, you know. She was a little nervous with me leaving the Forest Preserve, you know. She's like, hey, that's retirement. You know, she worked for the U.S. Post Office for 35 years and retired from there. So, you know, but things are changing, you know. Today, you can't really say that you can stay until retirement anymore. Companies are looking for you to set up your own 401k and set up your own retirement. So you kind of got to look to pave your own way. And that's the reason why I'm challenging my audience out here to really think about entrepreneurism and thinking about paving their way. But the main thing I'm challenging you to do is to get out and vote.
Okay, well, we definitely will emphasize that.
Yeah.
In every asset, everything we do, we're going to have to put that voting in, because people have not realized how important voting is. When I was out there, what you mentioned about the NAACP, people say, well, I'm cooking now, I'll vote tomorrow, you know, and this type of thing. Oh, what would my one vote do? And then I showed them where we had several offices that were filled in North Chicago by one vote, and tie vote was the tie vote, and it had to be declared, you know, by pulling the name, you know, and so there's many cases where one vote made a difference.
That's right.
And now it's only one vote; it's many votes now. People, they should be part of the part of your just daily activities, you know, to make sure that you have your you have your driver's license. You need a voting card.
That's right. That's right.
So,
and that's what I'm encouraging my young people to do. And in fact, at A-List, we're going to be a place where people can register to vote.
Oh, great.
That's right. It's that important. No matter what side, exercise your right.
So actually, another thing you could emphasize, you don't know what God has a plan for you to do.
No.
You may like to do one thing, but God has another, something else for you to do. And that's so important. And you mentioned by getting prepared to ensure that you have not only a high school diploma, but a degree, and now a bachelor's degree is
not enough.
You need a master's for a job. I tell people about even being a warehouseman, you need have to know computers, and I didn't ask you about how important computers were.
Yes.
Because you have to know how to locate the item in the warehouse.
That's right.
You know,
and all of this stuff is automated today.
Yes.
It's all automated. Yeah. Even the forklift, I think, that they're driving is automated. They've got a little headset, and everything's on a little bit of a computer. So it's important.
So education is the key.
It's the key.
Right.
It's the key.
What about employee women versus men? You have the percentage of women employees, you know.
I have a large percentage of women employees, but I have a large percentage of male employees as well. And most of our drivers are males, but we are looking for female drivers as well. We
Okay.
think that women really know what a car should look like when it's set up for a wedding. They have an idea of what a bride might need as an emergency item. They may even have a little hairspray in their purse, or a safety pin, or a little sew-in kit. You know, those little things. We have a little basket for you brides, so don't you worry about it. We're all ready for you. But it's good to have women drivers as well. So we are looking for some women drivers, and I find that it's good to have males in our office to answer the phones. So we're looking for some men to help us dispatch and take reservations as well. So we're looking. We're open. We're an equal opportunity employer, and our offices are handicap accessible, so don't let that even be a barrier for you. If you're in a wheelchair or if you need some accommodations, we can work with you, especially my veterans out there.
Okay. Yeah, that's another great, another program.
Yeah.
For veterans, you know, this
Yeah.
type of thing, you know. You know, I have started using the limo services because I don't feel up to driving, you know.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about all the types of, you mentioned about funerals and just all kind of activities, you know. But person now feel like driving, they just call limo service, and the convenience there, and drop you off, pick you up, and this type of thing.
Yeah.
You just can't beat it. It was not available when I was growing up now, but it is the highlight of quality living now.
It is. And you know what? It's affordable. Don't let the fact that it's a limousine make you think you
Okay.
can't afford it.
Okay.
Because you and your family have traveled with us several times.
Oh, yes.
Which we appreciate.
Oh, yes.
But it's affordable. It's not as expensive as people think. And it's a lot cheaper than a DUI for my young people out there. So, hey, everybody pitch in, take a limo. You do the partying, we'll do the driving.
You know, my father worked at one job for 40 years.
Yeah.
This was Swift Packing Company.
Okay.
And my stepfather worked for Armour. We control the packing company, you know.
Yeah.
Another 40 years, one job,
Wow.
same job.
Wow.
But now it's unthinkable to work one job that long. As a matter of fact, maybe 4 or 5 years, you know.
And then people were ready to move on.
Ready to move on. And
Yeah.
that's administrative or whatever, because the technology is changing so.
Yeah.
And you have to keep up with the technology.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about the technology there, even in driving vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then today we've been just finding out that the autonomous vehicle, where like the Tesla pretty much does most of the driving for you. It will watch from lane changes. You can even take your hands off the wheel for a little bit. It'll accelerate, it'll change lanes. So technology today is unbelievable.
Right.
But we're always going to send a well-qualified chauffeur. And when you talk about people that have stayed, we've got great people like Carlos Sanchez that has been a part of our team now for the entire 9 years that we've been in business, that I've been here. So we have people that have been on our team for a while. Sharice Clark that's been in our office helping to manage our office. So we have people that stick around, so I'm excited about that. Because we're a company that you can actually grow with and be owners in the company. So it's exciting that you get to be with a company that you can grow and get stock in. And that's one of the things we want to do, is actually help people to become entrepreneurs. So if you've got a car that you want to put on with us, we can help put work in your vehicle, like an Uber type of thing, where we can refer business out to you. If you've got a nice black vehicle, give us a call. Maybe we can work together.
When you were growing up, you used to watch the Jeffersons.
That's
and
right.
Moving on up, you know.
To the east side.
And now people watching the show and so forth, they can see that it's possible for people to move up in
That's
this
right.
day and age.
That's right. That's right. If you can dream it, my son just told me, pursue it, live through it, achieve it. I might have messed that up, sorry. But you just have to, you got to go after your dreams is what I got from him, and I appreciated learning that from my son.
Well, it's very exciting and so forth to having a local entrepreneur in the spotlight. And I'm going to be doing more of this, you know, to let Lake County know that we do have people that are really doing things. But it's not easy. It's a lot of preparation to
But
get
it's
to
worth
there,
it.
right?
But it's worth it.
Right, right. And especially when you have to have if you have a passion, people have passion for doing things, but they don't know how to go about doing it.
That's true. That's
And
true.
of course, like you mentioned, how you got started with Fred Turman
That's
and
right.
so forth,
That's right.
and he's retiring and so forth.
He passed the baton.
Okay, okay. I think several people have mentioned to me about passing baton as the guest for the show, and I tell them that this is a God-given talent,
Yeah.
and I cannot pass on to them what God has given me. I would refer them to God.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
usually let God be the glory, have God have the glory to do it, because since I started, 1990,
Wow.
there's had not been another opportunity since then.
Wow.
You know, so I took advantage of it, and that's the same thing about other opportunities.
Yes.
You have this opportunity for the limo service, and what about competition? Do you have competition limo service?
Well, of course we do, and I think that competition is good. I'm not afraid of competition. It makes you step up your game. It makes you keep achieving more, trying to be better. And you know, we changed our name from Midwest to A-List because when we think of A-List, we think of someone who is an A-lister, someone that is red carpet, you know, celebrity. And at A-List, limousine and bus, you're the celebrity. And so for us, we want to make sure that you're getting that red carpet treatment, that you're getting the best. You're treated like the celebrity that you are for us. So for me, I think that competition is good, and it makes everyone keep stepping up their game.
Now, are you the sole proprietor?
I am, but I again am setting up our corporation where, while I'll keep 51%,
Naturally.
I am setting up where our people that have been with our company can earn, you become vested, and then you earn stock in the company, so that eventually they will take over, because I want to pass the baton. For me, I don't want to do it forever. I want to have the company go on forever, and the only way that's going to happen is to set it up where the people that are here feel as though they're owners and they want to see it grow.
So if you decide to retire like tomorrow, which is not true, you just getting
Not
started.
tomorrow.
But you would have, if you had a corporation and so forth, you have someone to turn it over to.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay.
So it can keep growing. Someone with some young millennial mind that's out there thinking, I could do that.
Okay.
Come on board, help us grow it, and then take over as the CEO.
But with the number of employees that you have, I'm sure they see your excitement.
Yeah, we're
And they
18
say,
strong and growing.
Well, one of these days that they want to get involved.
Yes.
So forth,
Yes. I hope so.
Now, are you, involved in organizations yourself? I asked you about leisure time activities, but what about, are you a joiner, or do you just support organizations?
Well, I join. I'm a member of the Black Chamber of Commerce, Pastor Gas. I'm a member of the Waukegan Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the Kenosha Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And I'm active in that if they're having items where they need a silent auction, if there's celebrities that need to be picked up, we want to be a part of it. We want to be seen, and we want to be a part of what helps make the community better. See, I don't want to just be in the community and not make it better.
Okay.
North Chicago, to me, was a place that I felt the Greenbelt Cultural Center could help make better, and I think that we did. I think that our programs helped bring people together. There were educational programs that we did that helped to educate people in the community. So I felt like we were doing something to make the community better, and that's what I always want to be a part of, something that's going to improve.
Right. Well, what about the Robert Taylor Homes again? You say it's completely
Torn down.
Completely torn down.
down.
Was there a effort to build condominiums in that location?
You know, I think that still might be the case because slowly but surely you start to see them coming up. You know, like it started near White Sox Park. We always called it Comiskey Park because that's what we call it on the South Side. Now it wasn't U.S. It was U.S. Cellular. It might be Guaranteed Rate Fill. I don't know. It's one of those kind of things now. But you start to see condos that are coming up there, and it's moving a lot of the people that were born and raised in that area out. And unfortunately, that has led to a lot of the crime that you're seeing on the South Side, where you were in your building and that was your territory, and whether you were doing good or bad there, that's where you were. And then when you got moved out, whatever good or bad you were doing, you took to wherever you moved into, and there may have been other people doing good or bad in that neighborhood that now the two bads are fighting against each other. And so unfortunately, I think that's something that the mayor should have seen could have happened and could have had that be a little easier transition where they didn't just take people and just scatter them. And in doing so, they had to learn to survive in a new area and therefore causing the violence.
We have a great deal of population migrating from Chicago to this area, Lake County. And there are people saying it's a council of the high crime and so forth. Like you say, they had high crime there, so they're bringing the crime up. And do you feel that that's the case?
I feel like, and I hope that the people that are watching that are from Chicago, I really hope that you will hear me when I say, welcome to Lake County. But bring about positive change. Leave the bad things where you were. Because here, there's an opportunity for you to put your kids in great schools, for you to assimilate to an area that really wants to grow and change, not be a part of the nonsense. So put the guns down and come and learn how to be a part of a county that's growing. Kenosha, same thing. They're probably experiencing the same thing. Go there and be a part of change that's good. Don't bring bad here. Because I remember some young people walking into the cultural center and they were like, wow, you know, I haven't heard any gunshots. I haven't heard this. I haven't heard that. They were coming from Chicago, coming from Cabrini Green is where they were coming from. And I said, leave that behind. Learn here and be a part of the good that is here. And I hope that that's something that that we'll start to see.
Well, that's the reason I mentioned that you have a great opportunity to go into schools and talk with the youngsters.
I would love. No one's offered to ask me to come, but I would go.
If invited, you know. So we hope that the educators are listening. And
I would love to go.
I would like to, you know, refer you to. I would say this, that, and I hope you would agree with me, that every individual is born to excel.
I agree.
I really believe that this is God's plan for everyone to excel, right?
That's right. That's right. But unfortunately, too many young people only see what's around them. And as I said, when I went off to the Army, I got a chance to see a whole different world. I saw that you could buy your own car, new. I saw that you could have your own place. I saw all of these things that I had seen in my neighborhood, but only on a small spectrum. So sometimes you got to get out of where you are to see what's possible.
And this is a great, and I think a lot of people from the South.
We're running out of time. They're like, hey.
But we've gotten a lot of things that we would not have gotten otherwise if you hadn't taken a little bit of your time away from the limousine service. But you mentioned about benefits, I guess, from limousine service.
Yeah. So we're working on that right now. I'm working with some people that are helping me put together a benefit package so that, you know, it's not just come in, get a paycheck, and go.
Yeah.
So we've moved from subcontractor module only to now where you can be a subcontractor or you can be an employee, and then the next level is employee with benefits. So I think that's going to help move us into the categories of the Midwest motor coaches and things like that. So little by little, we're making those strides.
And I mentioned about challenging experiences that you have had, and I know you've had many challenges, and I mean, it has led to prayer in your life too, right?
Woo. Say it again.
So how important is prayer?
Again, if you're listening, I can tell you this. There is, I don't know where I would be today if it were not for prayer and for praying people praying for me, people praying into me, pouring into me, believing in me, giving me opportunities through prayer. So I would say if right now you're challenged by life, because it's going to continue, it's a roller coaster, it's going to continue to have the ebbs and tides, it'll have the good times and the bad times, just understand, don't give up. Because if you're thinking about suicide or anything like that, don't give up. It can get better if you keep moving forward. And sometimes you just got to pray and watch and see what happens. And that's what I'm challenging you to do. Pray and watch and see what happens. Take that step. Take that leap of faith and watch God show that he's worth it.
You involved in church activities?
I am a newest member of, Pastor Fletcher is my new pastor of First Baptist Church of Lake Forest. And he has really been a great mentor. I love what he's doing in trying to pour back into the community. And so that's the reason why I decided to join his church is I felt like God was saying, this is where you can help grow and help people to become all that God plans for them to be. Like you said, we're all born to be great. We're born to be great. And it's just a matter of helping them to find out their greatness. And that's what I think he's doing.
I mentioned that because, if I may say it this way, God does not make junk.
He don't make no junk.
We're all born to excel, and it just keep praying and and keep being excited and ask God, what do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
And he'll lay it out for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
because I'm asking him that every day. You sure this is what you want me to do, Lord?
Right. Exactly. And this is what really happens, my family and I attended a funeral this morning, and we rushed back to Pastor Priscilla Brady. I don't know who you know her or not. H.B. Brady, you ever heard of H.B. Brady? He's one of the largest ministers in Chicago. He passed away some years ago. But one of his daughters, 87 years old, passed away. And today she didn't give up. She was in hospice for the last 5 years, but they brought her home, and she lasted 5 additional years, because with the personal care, with the family care.
Yes,
and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Took care of her. So I rushed back here because I know I had
Christell. For little old me.
And you were here. Didn't know the bell was at the door. It's the place called Comcast is closed. This building is closed.
But the studio stayed open for you. They knew we needed to have Dr. Waddell Brooks keep this studio going, to keep this program going. And thank you for all that you've done. And thank you for allowing A-List Limo and Bus and Christell Ayers to be a part of your program today.
I had to have one of the entrepreneurs highlighted here at Community Forum tonight, And since you're one of the persons that's moving on up, then we had to, it's not only the Jeffersons, but it's Christell Ayers. And I want to really congratulate your family too, your mother and
my father passed away in 2012.
Oh,
but I know he's proud. He drove a CTA bus for 35 years.
He's in transportation.
He was in transportation.
Right. So we we're not encouraging people to join the military, because I served in the military for a couple years in Korea there, Korean veteran.
Thank you for your service.
But it meant a lot to me, though. Although I couldn't stay and retire. Two years is all I could handle, But it did make a different person out of me, and I'm still benefiting from that experience that I had while I was in the military. Yeah. So the reserves there, only meet on weekends, or how
you go 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks of summer, and I would just say, if you're thinking about it, talk to a recruiter. And then talk to me, and I'll tell you if they told you everything correct.
Okay, right.
And I'm right there at 2504 Washington Street, Suite 303. We just moved up from the second floor, 205 to 303. We got our own suite now. Love to have you come on by and visit us. That's 2504 Washington Street, Waukegan, Illinois, Suite 303, or 5701 75th Street, which is also Highway 50 in Kenosha. Love to have you stop by either office and come see us. Our website again, www.alistlimoride, and our phone number 847-949-8770 or 1-800-729-5110. Thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned you were the first director of the Greenville Cultural Center when it opened up.
Yep. And
it was a valuable experience for you, and when you left there, you had no idea that you'd be going into the limousine service, right? You're a part owner, though.
Well, no, I knew when I left the Forest Preserve, I knew I was going into transportation, because I started the business in 2009.
Oh, okay.
And I did it part-time, and it just was it was a hobby.
Okay.
It was just something to do. We had 4 cars. We were kind of moving the little 4 cars around, taking people to the airport. But the Forest Preserve decided they wanted to kind of go in a little different direction than what I wanted to do, and it was more and more clear to me that I needed to take this leap of faith with God.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you very much again.
Thank you.
For literally taking time from your busy schedule to be with us on the community. And we're just as excited as having you on the program as you ought to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Christell, and we call her Chris for short, Ayers. She's an entrepreneur with A-List Limo Ride. And her life is to God be the glory. And I'm sure that you can identify with that also. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.